All right, welcome back here to Erie News Now at 7. Time now, of course, to go behind the story. And a friend here at Erie News Now at 7, Dr. Joe Morris, Political Science Chair from Mercyhurst University. Sir, thank you for braving through the rain and getting
here.
It's
quite a storm.
That's right, exactly. I'm sure you're watching John Stalin. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
Yeah, they always do, sir. So let's go from rainy Erie to sunny LA, where we've seen a lot of protesting going on, your hometown.
Yes.
Just sort of describe that to us if you could, sir.
Yeah, you know, I've been following it closely, and it seems that it's this kind of strange combination of protest with a little bit of unruly crowd behavior. But what we have to remember about Los Angeles is that if there's any city that's prepared to handle unrest like this, it's Los Angeles. Most of the people that are in power, positions of power now in that area, lived through the 1992 riots, which were far more widespread and far more substantial in terms of property damage. They're ready to go.
Do you think that this sort of compares to that at all?
So far, I don't think it's even a comparison that you can make. There's more contrast with what happened in 1992. What is, I think, something that we have to pay close attention to is the eagerness with which the federal government has pursued the use of federal troops in Los Angeles, particularly when Los Angelinos, again, are probably the most prepared to handle this on their own.
And now we sort of see the split between President Trump and the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Should we send the National Guard? Should we not? What do you make of all that, Doctor?
Yeah, well, some of it's political posturing, particularly on Gavin Newsom's side. He's positioning himself to be the opposition, the voice of the opposition of Donald Trump, which probably puts him in a great place to run for president in a few years. On the other hand, Donald Trump has been, throughout both of his administrations, very eager, at least we think he is, by virtue of the words he uses to describe his feelings about the use of federal troops, very eager to use federal troops in the United States to pursue policy objectives. And as somebody who absolutely loves the idea of states' rights and federalism, this gives me real concern. It should give all of us real concern, because at some level we have to respect states' autonomy and their ability to handle these sort of issues on their own.
Certainly follow it as it continues. Let's talk a little bit about the president's relationship then with Elon Musk, who was like right by his side throughout the campaign. Now there's a split. Are they back together? What's going on with that, Doctor?
I have no idea. You know, on one hand, I think, is this even newsworthy? On the other hand, I think this is a guy who just cut $180 billion from the federal government by virtue of slashing jobs. He was an intimate part of this administration. And is it a situation where we once again have a member of Donald Trump's administration exiting that administration probably early and having absolutely no relationship with the current president, which seems to be how it occurs most often in his administration.
And it seems as though that opposition came from this big, beautiful bill, as it's called. Where do you see that ending up in Congress here, Doctor?
It's going to be an interesting conversation in the halls of our Capitol. This is a bill that is probably the last thing in the world that a traditional Republican would like. It is, according to the Congressional Budget Office, which is a nonpartisan group of analysts who does their best to project the impact of things like budgets, they tell us that this is likely to add trillions of dollars in deficit, in debt, over the next several years. And traditional conservatives are going to be very much opposed to this. There's not enough an increase of revenue does not exist that will compensate for the spending that is going to occur in this bill.
We'll certainly follow as it goes. I'm going to make sure should add a sheet of paper so I can book you, so we can continue that conversation. Thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate it.